So, welcome everyone to day six. We tried to organize this class in the beginning of the year. It is already the beginning of the year, but we tried this class before, a few days back, but there were some sound distractions. And then after that, we didn't have a chance to record again. It's 11:09 p.m. here. It's 11/1/2017. Thank you so much for joining up so late at night. Um, a lot of people I know in India, there are a lot of nighttime people. We could not locate this timing because of the other workshops running through. Although, as you're aware, I am traveling a lot these days, and not only I've shifted to Bhopal for quite a long while, but also have to travel to villages and meet relatives, and it's an awesome time of grounding. But it's something very new to my system, which has gone a lot into energy refinement. When you are so dedicated to energy work, your energy body is refined to a very high degree. Now, that refinement refines your senses, refines your perception, literally all areas of your life. But as many of you reported, that as you grow spiritually, you find yourself feeling detached from the old connections, be it family or friends, which are not consciously spiritual. That love remains, but you somehow feel that there is some sort of disconnection, right? In the same manner, that is what refinement does. I'm just giving one example. So, when you're very dedicated to the light work, what happens is you really have to discern and figure out how am I going to meet, how am I not going to meet. But if you have a huge family like that of mine here, um, you actually cannot say no at times. That's a very interesting story here in the city where I'm living. So I think I'm quite done, really filling up those quote unquote gap of years of feeling separate from them, maybe. So I was very, very strongly guided a few days back to cut down on my quote unquote unnecessary timing on meeting, you know. As many of you are aware that I'm here for a study, for doing a lot of things. You might be hearing my voice. Yes, I have caught cold again, and it's almost 16 degrees Celsius here, too cold for a person who is very accustomed to Raipur. And I think there was some kind of allergic reaction. I had this interesting, what do you call that, vegan meat made from soya flour. This was not the one that I usually take. This was something um, that is provided here locally, and I think maybe something has triggered there. So I think I won't be going back to eating it again. Although, vegan substitute of non-vegetarian food, it's fantastic. So I'm not saying that that particular store is there's something wrong with that store, but I think my body can't handle it much. These days, I'm finding myself avoiding a lot of sugar and dairy. Regarding the prana journey, I try to restart, but the culture where I live, you really have milk. I mean, you have to have, and sugar is also there. So instead of updating on Facebook regarding my prana journey, I decided that I will eat when I choose to eat, which means, of course, socializing or pleasure eating. Of course, this does have some negative consequences on my body, uh, but I think I will uh, be able to handle it, transcend it, regardless of how much cold is there, in the weather. If I don't have dairy and sugar, I find my body doesn't produce too much cough, you know. So that's very interesting to observe. Your whole physiology changes when your perception changes. Your whole DNA changes when your perception changes. There's been a lot of research work. The book Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton is fabulous work. Although I couldn't understand much, maybe I can understand by now. I think 8 or 7 years back when I tried to read it, it didn't make much sense to me apart from the fact that yes, perception transforms reality. A lot of people who go through severe illnesses even terminal illnesses. And when they get healed, what happens is that you will find they not only go through some medications, but they also have a huge shift in the perception, especially at the part when they get quote unquote cured, or have a very strong relief from it. So again, thank you so much for being on this journey. A lot of you have gone through a whole lot of videos on YouTube. Thank you so much for sharing the work, for listening. Thank you so much for purchasing the full MP3s as well to support Love Yoga movement. I like to call it as um, Love Yoga. Mm. So thank you so much for that. And by this time, when you have received the transmissions and are working on it, remember there has to be a strong foundation of energy hygiene. I've talked about in day one. There's a full MP3 uploaded at our YouTube channel. So maintain that. I'm not free from it. You're not free from it. We're learning it. We're mastering it. And coming back to the prana diet, yes, I am living 80%, 80 to 90% on prana. But when I have to meet people, when I have to socialize, or when I just want to taste something, I eat it. Although with consequences, consequences could be very, very strong if you have a long gap. I mean, if for many, many days you're living on prana and suddenly you socialize, the consequences are huge. However, if you're eating, let's say, maybe once in a day, once in 3 days, or something like that, or maybe eating very, very, very less throughout the day, or maybe in 2 or 3 days, the quote unquote consequences, which I like to call it as the ab reactions in the body, are not much. So you really have to find your middle path, what works for you. Okay. And again, this journey, this love yoga journey that is being sent out, transmitted to you, is not meant for prana nourishment. It's not meant for gaining any supernatural powers. Nothing of the sort. It's just about spreading and sharing the message of love yoga as given, transmitted by our beloved Aphrodite. All right. So thank you so much for joining up in the second recording. Okay. So the topic is sacrifice at the temple. So let us begin our session with a prayer to the Supreme Essence, Divine Father and Divine Mother, our spiritual teachers, all spiritual teachers, holy masters, holy saints, holy archangels, holy angels, beings of light, and all the great, great, great ones. We humbly invoke for divine guidance, divine love, illumination, divine oneness, abundance, peace, prosperity, spirituality, harmony, inner healing, divine health, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith. We invoke the presence of beloved Aphrodite in our heart, in our room, in our home, in our colony, in the entire planet Earth. The moment we invoked this presence, I'm not so sure if it's being recorded. There's a bird chirping in the night. It's very interesting how the animal and bird kingdom, they are so, so, so sensitive to change in frequencies. Allowing this beautiful pink energy to flow in your heart, through your whole body, to flow in your room, to flow in your home, to flow in the colony, to flow in the entire earth, regardless of good, bad, regardless of a friend or a foe. Just let it flow. Continuing with deep and fine breaths. And once again, thank you so much for being a strong yes to these random love yoga calls because of the travel schedule. We will have to have these calls randomly. You'll be given at least a 1 hour update, a heads up before coming to the call. I think it's recorded, the chirping of the bird. Let the pink light flow in your heart, in your cells, and let everything just dissolve for a while. Everything, just everything. Let it dissolve for a while. Let everything be sacrificed at the altar for all the worries, regardless how big or small they seem, personally and professionally, at any level, for all of them into the presence of this love energy. You can always take them back after the session. All the questions that you've been trying to find the answer to. Ooh. This brilliant pink white diamond energy blazing through the heart into all the cells of the body, just dropping you in the moment of now. This moment where life is. Life is not in the past, life is not in the future. Life is here right now. We tend to miss this ever delicious joy of life by moving in the past or moving in the future. One of the best ways to bring our consciousness back to the moment of now is to observe the breath, the ingoing and outgoing breath. So, with your eyes closed, allowing yourself to observe the breath, at the same time, allowing these words to be transmitted into your consciousness. With your eyes closed still. Sacrifice is the law of life. Sacrifice is how the evolution takes place. The mineral kingdom sacrificing for the plant kingdom. The plant kingdom sacrificing for the animal kingdom. And all these kingdoms sacrificing for the human kingdom. The angelic kingdom sacrificing for the human kingdom. The human kingdom sacrificing for the mineral and plant and animal kingdom. By the virtue of soil, by the virtue of flesh, and more. The physical sun is sacrificing its energy to bring life into our solar system. The spiritual guru, the spiritual teacher, sacrifices his or her lower ego qualities almost every single moment, physically, verbally, emotionally, mentally, astrally, and more, so that the teacher can allow the spiritual Shakti to pour through his or her consciousness and be able to provide the nutrients, the Divine Mother's milk, to the people connected to the teacher. The similar is done by the angelic beings and other high dimensional beings. With your eyes still closed, breathing in and out, being aware of the breath, and letting the words be transmitted. The moment we walk, our cells and muscles are sacrificing energy. The cells are being broken as well so that we can move. Without sacrifice, there is no movement. Sacrificing might sound like a self sabotage, which Aphrodite shares is more of a perception. Continuing with deep and fine breaths. You may think that the concept of serving from the overflowing cup and the sacrifice are two different concepts. No, they're not. The sacrifice we're talking about is sacrifice of the old animal based tendencies, the old ego based qualities, which no longer serve the evolution of the soul. In many cultures, it is depicted as the sacrifice of the fruits, or the coconut, or an animal at holy places. The sacrificing that we're talking about is letting go, not getting rid of. There's a difference between letting go and getting rid of. Getting rid of requires energy strong. If you try to get rid of something which is not there, you will ever remain stuck. If you learn to let go, allow, surrender, you simply illumine yourself. You become enlightened, so to speak. Visualizing a beaming pink golden sun coming down to your crown, into your heart, illuminating your spine and all of your cells, hooking you, connecting you directly with the grid of the heart of the central sun. When we learn to sacrifice all that we have learned in the past, not only since childhood, but also from past lives and past sanskaras, we begin to challenge the quote unquote status quo and might sometimes be called as crazies. Continuing with deep and fine breaths. But as by and by we allow the sacred light to beam through us, through our words, our actions, our perceptions, our very thoughts, we begin to understand. We allow our cups to run it over. You become quote unquote powerful in all ways. And when we become powerful, we have the ability to serve others in various ways. And when that ability is quote unquote seen, felt, heard by other humans, they begin to recognize that there's something and this power of dissolution, the dissolution of the ego, the realization of the light. Power is flowing through us every single second. Power is flowing throughout the universe. One of the great teachers, Paramahamsa Yogananda, used to say that a, a very small amount of our body's flesh can illuminate a very big city for quite a number of days. Master Hilarion told me, I think 7 years back, that there's tremendous energy in the atom, in the nucleus, and you are made of many, many cells, many, many molecules, many, many atoms, of course, uncountable. Imagine how much energy, how much power is within you. At this time when we are all aligning ourselves to the energies of 2017 and the recent Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, we do find that there is a certain shift, a certain movement in terms of how this year is supposed to flow. Yes, this year still has promises of a new life, a new skin, so to speak. But this year is highly, highly, highly demanding. It wants the sacrifice of the old ways, old lifestyles, which no longer serve, so that we can allow the new to come true. There's a lot of creativity, but remaining grounded is of the essence, so that we can focus on the priorities. So if you are feeling overwhelmed at this point of time, that is important to spend some time regularly just focusing on the breath and being very, very, very aware of energy hygiene. We have talked about it before. As sensitive, as refined beings, we tend to pick up a whole lot, especially from the festive times. A lot of us, including myself, we are still processing the energies of Christmas, the New Year, and more. And we might appear on the physical level to be sick or something, but once that cleansing is done, we are back with more power, with more inner strength, and of course, more lessons on energy hygiene. The mother and the father sacrifices their cellular bodies to create children, and so does their mother and father, and the cycle continues on back to source. Sacrifice is the law of life. There's nothing new about sacrifice. It is everywhere. The very minerals that have been used to prepare the electronic gadget that you're using right now has sacrificed its old shape, way, and form to suit your need. In other ways, to go along with the lines of the ancient native tribes, especially the Aztecs, the universe demands sacrifice. God demands sacrifice. That is the key of today's session. God demands sacrifice, especially in conjunction with the 2017 energies. So you're not alone. Maintain your spiritual practice, whatever you have learned. Keep your energy field clear as much as possible and know that you will fall just like a child learns to walk. The child crawls, tries to walk, and falls back. It seems like back to square one. No, you're not. The point is how quicker you are getting up. Spiritual evolution implies a very long process, very long time for the personality. Deep and fine breaths. Bring awareness to your belly button, visualizing this beautiful pink ball of light in your belly button. Visualize this belly button as a doorway and allow your consciousness to travel inside this. Allow yourself to relive the memory of yourself inside the mother's utero, the womb, and from this state, allow yourself to notice the pink diamond energy in your heart and let it flow and nurture this child that you are. And let the energy run through you back in time to weeks and months, from 9 months to 8 months to 8 to 7 and more. Let it continue day by day, every single second. Some of you might have triggers, strong shuddering, or maybe nothing. What is important is your yes. Back to yourself as a cell, single cell, a fertilized egg. And let the energy continue to beam. You will notice that the energy becomes stronger and stronger, right? As you find yourself as nothing but a single cell, let this beaming pink energy spread its light into the mother's womb, sending out gratitude to the mother, gratitude to the whole body of the mother. Deep breaths. Visualizing yourself as a bright circle of pink light in the belly button of the mother. With a full deep breath, allow yourself to be felt as a bright beam of pink circle in the belly of the father, split in two. One ball, split in two as in the mother's womb, and of course in the father's belly button. And just like we did for the mother, allow this pink light to beam, although it is split into half, yet it is equally powerful. And let this gratitude flow into your father for sacrificing his blood, his cellular memory to create you. You might experience goosebumps as you are doing this powerful exercise with us, sending out gratitude to the whole body of the father. Doesn't matter you met your father or not, you don't know your father, mother or not, doesn't matter. Energy follows intention. Let this beautiful pink light beam love into all the cells of the father's body. Visualizing your mother and father as a couple, holding hands perhaps, being fed with this nourishing bright pink energy. And you sending out gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Visualizing the spiritual cord of the father and the mother. Visualize the two of them joining together from the crown, the spiritual roots, the cord of light coming from the father's head up and the mother's head up, joining into one pink star of light. With a full deep breath, drawing your consciousness into this pink star of light and sending out gratitude to the whole lineage of the ancestors from the mother and the father side, known, unknown. Send out this beam of gratitude, and your entire ancestral lineage shines like a galaxy. You're sending out gratitude to them for sacrificing their bodies to create your father and mother, your siblings, your cousins, allowing yourself to feel this loving, warm presence, sending out gratitude to the entire ancestral lineage. Spread it throughout the earth since millions and millions of years. As the whole earth beams strongly, noticing the starry dust replicating itself into the very soil of the earth, and from the soil of the earth, the energy replicating itself into every single drop of ocean, every single water body, every single air molecule, down to the various layers of the earth, the crust, the core, where the earth is sacrificing itself constantly to create minerals, where the spirit is constantly sacrificing itself to become the earth, allowing yourself to tap into this immortal connection where the earth meets heaven, where the spirit and matter are constantly in union, in ultimate intimacy to create bring awareness into your sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is present a few inches below the belly button, the creative life force center. Noticing how activated it has become, beaming with pink golden energy, and so is all of your cells. And as the verbal transmission of the session is completed, let us go in silence for a while, allowing the download packets of sacrifice to come into your consciousness. Let go. A full deep breath, turning back to your body. Know that another form of clearing is this interesting kind of dream sometimes. Sometimes might even appear as flu or maybe rashes at times. You can always contact, request the angels of grace to make it more easier and be in attunement with your body as to what suits it or not. It's all up to you. We are not going to form the quote unquote rules of what you should be eating or not, or what you should be doing with your day. It's you who decide. A full deep breath. Bring awareness to your throat. Now. Return back to your body. Now. Take your time to open your eyes. We're going to have a formal transmission as well. And before that, we're going to talk with each other. I'm going to request the three of the others who have joined live to share with us three lines about sacrifice, whatever they received from their high consciousness. Turn back to your body now. Open your eyes. It's fine. So I'm going to request the names one by one. We begin with Meeta. She will share with us 3 points. I'm having strong sensation in my central chakra. It's always a sign of high energy. Okay, so Meeta is going to unmute herself and tell us 3 points about sacrifice, whatever you understood or just knew it, even when nothing was said about it. Yes.
Yeah, sacrifice. It's basically the sacrifice of the ego
Mm,
and the sacrifice of being a doer.
mm-hmm.
And it's more about giving without knowing.
Mm. What do you mean by that? Giving without knowing?
Means it comes naturally when you don't know that you're giving.
Mm. When you don't know that you're giving, when you're not calculating how much you're going to get back. Something like
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. They say that the physical sun never calculates how much the earth owes to it. In the same manner, if we are very lucky to be connected with an enlightened spiritual teacher, the teacher constantly sacrifices showers, blessings, and Shakti on the soul, the Jivatma who is attuned, regardless whether the Jivatma, the personality, chooses to respect, recognize, or not. Once the student recognizes, respects, they get into the frequency of what they call receptivity and conductivity. And they do it by practicing the teachings of the teacher. Because teachings and teachers are one, there's no difference basically. And the outer body, the teacher, is just a very tiny tip of the iceberg. So once that happens, it is fabulous. It's total enlightenment. A lot of spiritual seekers, they don't have a physical uh, teacher, so to speak. Like in my case, I have a physical teacher, beloved Saint Germain, who is still, I believe, I very, very strongly believe, is in the body, uh, in the physical body. But yes, I have not met. But yes, I can sense when I get out of alignment with him, or when I'm in alignment with him. I think many of you are aware about the story where, as a child and even now, every time there's dark, I don't see dark. I see violet ripples flowing through. was very later on in my life that I realized, oh, so that's where my soul belongs. All right, so let's see with Mitu. Mitu, please unmute yourself and share with us any 3 points about sacrifice that you learned or you just downloaded or you had an awareness from the session.
Hi, Narmada.
Hi.
Unconditional love.
Uh-huh.
And again, I also agree with Meeta that sacrifice of ego and doing without expectations or giving your coming out of your own comfort zone and doing things for others.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sacrifice could also be uh, sacrificing of the old ways where self-love is an act of selfishness. You know, taking very good care of yourself. That's also kind of that's a sacrifice because you're sacrificing old beliefs and limited beliefs, especially of the guilt. I think mothers can really relate to it. Instead of being on the giving end, really to the other person, being on the giving end to yourself. And sacrificing that old belief and allowing yourself to be nurtured so that you can serve more, right? For many spiritual people, including myself, consciously spiritual people, um, at times we feel so filled with abundance and the energy of money because we have very limited needs. Some of us don't even eat. So sometimes when we are asked to deal with the energy of money for whatever work we do, wherever we are, we feel guilty about receiving, or we feel guilty about capital W wanting or capital D desiring to have more, to live a more comfortable life. But that belief kind of blocks us. But once we sacrifice it or replace it with the belief that if we're able to have more money coming for whatever work we do, we can serve the society more powerfully. Okay, you don't need the money, you don't take the money, but let the money come in, let the money flow so that that money can be smartly, intuitively, creatively channeled into helping in the relief of the pain, sorrow, and suffering of mankind. So that is also another way of sacrifice. I think I'm strongly working with that particular belief right now because I'm not doing my manifestations. And of course, the results are pretty much showing up, but it's all fine, right? It's all good once we realize that, okay, I'm not doing visualization and manifestation, and things seem to be quite different, so to speak. Anyways, let's move into the one last person. Nirmaljeet, please unmute yourself and share with us about sacrifice.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So sacrifice means, for me, sacrifice for food, emotions, and sacrifice for other people. Like for do something good for poor peoples, some sick peoples.
Mhm,
That's it. There's these three things I want to do. Sacrifice.
mhm. And what are you planning for
That's.
yourself? What are you planning to sacrifice for yourself?
I will try myself to control of my emotions and do something good which gives me joy.
Okay, great. Joy is the frequency. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, as Abraham says that, success is not about how much physical materials or money we have. It's more about the joy that we can experience. And once we have that basic emotion of joy, which comes directly from the spirit, that joy is like this particular emotion I felt very, very strongly when I went to the Mumbai Devi temple in Mumbai. I felt the goddess just, going in circles and, hitting the ground and with her feet like a child and dancing. Uh, in the beginning, I was a bit dizzy the moment I had this vision of the goddess. But then I realized, oh, she's all the way excited to bring forth into physicalization, to bring forth into physicalization, to bring forth into physicalization the spirit. So that was an aha moment for me. I realized, oh, and that's where I'm lacking. I need to ground more. I need to connect with this blessed being. That energy of joy. Joy is a very, very fundamental emotion. When we talk about mastering the emotions, it means sacrificing our old qualities or being carried away by the emotions and really, quote unquote, playing consciously all spectrums of the emotions when needed, but at the core, remaining in our absolute joy. How that happens? That happens by meditation. That happens by remembering our true essence. And once we do it, and then we carry out different emotions consciously. Yeah, that sounds contradictory, but it can be done. You'll be amazed how powerful you become so that you can serve more, so that you can love more. Loving requires power. To be able to love requires power. To be able to love is wisdom. All right, let's go ahead with our formal transmission now. I encourage you to listen to this particular one, this particular class, because I think that it's the first, although we are re-recording it. The content is a bit different, but the essence is same, and perhaps I believe it's more than the previous one because there was more of a transmission, even in the verbal talks or informal transmission part. All right, allowing yourself to close your eyes